It's now my pleasure to introduce Jim Morris, who is the president of Pacers Sports and Entertainment Organization. Thank you.
I'm number 8 on the program, and I suspect that's why they wanted to find the president of a basketball team to give you a timeout. I won't take time to rationalize why or explain why the president of a basketball team was invited to be here. It has a lot more to do with my earlier life than my current life. May I say that one of the great values of a university is the people they bring to the community in which it resides. Indiana University, IUPUI, has made a remarkable gift to the city of Indianapolis and the state of Indiana by building the Center on Philanthropy, by establishing it as the preeminent yet deeply caring and serving institution that it is. I don't know that I ever admired a person more than I admired Bob Payton, and I'm not sure I ever enjoyed a person more than I did Bob Payton. The fact that he lived here, that I felt that he was pleased and proud to be a Hoosier, to be one of us, that he loved being a part of IUPUI, and the stature of the man set the highest possible standard, aspirations for the academic community in the state of Indiana, and obviously far beyond. I wish my colleague, and I expect John Mutz would echo this, wish our colleague Bob Lynn could be with us today. Bob was the longtime vice president of religion for the Lilly Endowment, and clearly one of the superstars to ever serve the Lilly Endowment. He was brilliant in 1,000 ways, but he saw the opportunity and he seized it and he made the most of it. But he was the one that first said, I think we need to help IUPUI build a great library. In part from Bob Lynn's idea, we have this magnificent library. When the Center of Philanthropy was being developed, I give enormous credit to my then colleague, incredible human being, Charles Johnson. And the lesson, there are lots of lessons in this, but I doubt that any significant academic, I hope this is close to being accurate, but any significant academic undertaking was ever pursued with greater preparation and greater inclusion, with a commitment to be inclusive, to understand that the dynamics of this enterprise affected A to Z in the academic curriculum. And that brilliance has enabled the center to be what it is. In the process of searching for its first director, Bob Lynn said, Jim, Bob Payton is the person that needs to come run this place. Bob Payton was on the search committee, and he was importuned time and time again to take the job, and always deflected or redirected the attention to someone else. But we were steadfast, and the search committee was steadfast. Gene gave you part of the details, but we stayed focused. We knew that Bob Payton was the person that would get this started with his proper amount of respect and give it a chance, a great chance. And ultimately, for whatever reason, he was not happy at the University of Virginia. And I thought it was a home run that we could attract someone from the great University of Virginia to the fledgling IUPUI in Indiana University. And he came, and he quickly became an important asset for this university, for the study of the broad study worldwide, and for our community. I was moderator one year of the Stanley K. Lacey program, and Bob Payton spent 3 days with us in retreat in Greencastle, Indiana at DePauw, working through community building and community development and leadership issues for 25 bright young people for Indianapolis. The Jane Addams Fellows brought brilliant students to our community. I wish that we had the gift to track what each of them will do and the impact and the effect they will have in their totality. It will be extraordinary. It hasn't been mentioned that Bob was the United States ambassador to Cameroon. Many of us have had experiences like that, and we've seen ambassadors put brilliant faces on the United States of America, and others do less well. Can you imagine the face that Bob Payton put on our country in Cameroon? Brilliant, wonderful, as good as it could have been done. Bob Payton understood the precious opportunity to be a teacher. He taught all of us all the time, and I think in unanimity we share profound gratitude for that. Can you imagine what his students thought the first time they got acquainted with Bob, either one-on-one or in the classroom? What a gift this teacher Bob Payton would be in their lives. Remarkable. So, as we are here affirming his life, his notion to do more, to share, to see and seize the opportunity and to make the most of it, and always to bring the next group along. In part, we are the embodiment of his notion of serial reciprocity. It's our job. You know, the turtle didn't get to the fence post by himself or herself. I have the pleasure of reading to you. I apologize. I'm never sure about reading something, but I'll prove to you that I can. A letter from the governor of Indiana, Mitch Daniels. Mitch asked me if I would do this. Dear friends, the Center on Philanthropy at Indiana University is perhaps the world's preeminent institution for the study of what one man once described as voluntary action for the public good. Without the vision and devotion of that man, this program, one of the first of its kind and a point of pride to our state, would not have been possible. Bob Payton led a life of purpose and accomplishment. He was a jazz musician, an author, an executive, an educator, a scholar, a diplomat, and above all else, a public servant. And if I was going to add a little footnote to Mitch's letter, I would say, and a great friend. This sense of service fueled perhaps his greatest legacy, an innovative and remarkable reconsideration of how our institutions of higher education prepare young people for their own lives of service. His view of philanthropy as a field worthy of serious academic study came to life in the creation of the Center on Philanthropy, and his leadership as its first full-time director established and cemented its renown. Hoosiers have a time-worn tradition of lending a hand to those in need and helping others before thinking of themselves. Today, these customs are widely known, and Indiana is rightly regarded the world over as a place where philanthropy thrives and compassion abounds. This is in no small part because of the work of Bob Payton. Sincerely, Mitch Daniels. And now it's my pleasure to present to you a true giant in the field. She was a giant in the field when I was at the Lilly Endowment. I can only imagine. Dr. Virginia Hodgkinson.
Thank you. I got him first before he came here, which was a great privilege in my life. Bob was a man of expansive mind and gentle spirit. And I want to talk about the 5 years we worked closely together before he found his calling to his most important job as director of the Indiana Center for Philanthropy. And the whole sector should be grateful for Bob Payton, because it was he who took leadership at the right time and brought thought and scholarship about philanthropy after a 50-year drought. He literally inspired and energized thousands, young and mature, to take a closer look at philanthropy, which he defined in the broadest terms, as we've heard so many times today, voluntary action for the public good. It was this broad view that provided us with the expansive area of study across numerous fields and professions that we have today. I had only met Bob twice before he accepted the chair of the research committee at Independent Sector in 1982, the year of his son Joseph's death. I had just taken the appointment as vice president of research at Independent Sector with an ambitious mission to create a basic body of knowledge and advance education about the sector. Little did I know that a knight in shining armor was to come to the rescue. And Bob was a one-man whirlwind. He took his chairmanship with great excitement. I soon learned that thinking about and studying about philanthropy was a lifelong love of his. Our committee, which by the way had Bob Lynn and James Billingsley and David Matthews, many of the leaders in the practitioner world, spent 2 years in seminars called meetings to determine where to start. What were the fundamental questions that we needed to study? What were the fundamental needs of knowledge for those working in the sector? What kinds of incentives could be brought to bear to spread the study of philanthropy across higher education, professional schools, and elementary and secondary education? For Bob Payton, all knowledge and all disciplines had something to do with philanthropy, as faculty at Indiana University remember well. For those first 2 years, Bob talked to foundation leaders, educators, fundraisers, not-for-profit professionals, and asked question after question. What motivates philanthropy, the mind or the heart? What are the basic traditions of philanthropy? What does it mean to be a professional in philanthropy? Is it a responsibility of a corporate foundation to fund philosophers? What is our philanthropic responsibility to future generations? What is the role of philanthropy in higher education? And on and on and on. We used to take trips together to various places where our committees, where